all right, maybe the Suns are going to work out Bronny James. And then it was like, hey, not every team's going to work out Bronny James, just a few. And then, depending who you believe today, it's like 2 teams are going to work out Bronny James. The Lakers.
Who's the other one?
The Lakers, who you would assume.
Where do they pick again in the first round?
Just outside the first round, deep into the second round.
Actually, Luke, they pick 17th. Suns pick 22nd. Isn't that interesting how that works out?
Oh, I thought you were going with, okay, I jumped the,
It's okay.
I think you're going to say, where would they pick
No, it's
Bronny?
just interesting
They're not
that,
picking Bronny at 17.
Well, what if the team at 22nd is working him out, Luke? Watch out.
Oh, look at that,
no.
huh? I see what you're saying.
They might do it.
Oh, no. It sounds like, at least right now, the plan is for it to just be those 2 teams working him out. So let's just start here, Kellan, because it did happen during our show on Friday towards the end, and we just we talked about it for a couple minutes, but we didn't dive into it yet. How, scale of 1 to 10, how realistic is it even if the Suns, let's start with this path. There's a few paths here. Let's start with the path of the Suns. The Suns really want LeBron, so they go out and probably draft Bronny James way too high to try to get LeBron. Mm-hmm. How realistic is this path even anyway? Because it hinges on LeBron James giving up several millions of dollars.
2, maybe 3.
Okay.
Out of 10.
So not 0.
Not 0, just because I don't know LeBron James. It's like, for anyone to speak with the utmost confidence of what he's going to do would have to have a very personal relationship with him, and even those people probably don't have 100% idea what he's going to do. He's the only one who really knows. He and his family are probably the only ones who really know, and I'm guessing it's just, I'm guessing Bronny has no idea what LeBron's doing. Like, LeBron was talking about it on his podcast with JJ Redick last week and was saying that a lot of the things that Bronny was saying at the combine and the things that he was, talking about his game and, what he sees for himself in the future and, the league are things that he and LeBron have never talked about before. Like the player comparisons he was making, all that kind of stuff. LeBron was encouraged as a dad to hear those answers because he wasn't sitting there coaching him or whatever. He was just kind of letting him do his own thing. So with all that being said, I think that you can't say 0 because no one knows except him what exactly that he wants. But there is no precedent for someone doing this before. There's no precedent for someone turning down over $45 million to go play somewhere because the situation is more so what they want. There's also no precedent for someone with LeBron's financial comfort, I'll phrase it as.
True, and he's going to keep making money after he retires.
But you know what's sick when you're a billionaire? $150 million more dollars.
That helps you get to another billion.
More money is better than less money most of the time.
You should be an agent.
Society
honestly.
We live in. I could go down a deep rabbit hole there if you want me to about capitalism, but I will instead choose to decline because we are a sports
3.5 hours. I don't know if you'd get through all of it. Yeah. Okay. So back to LeBron.
We'll need at least 6 segments there to kind of torso it out. We'll come back at 11:15.
Yeah.
For more.
Well, you won't be able to hear us for 5.5 of those segments because Aaron will have cut our mics at that point.
Well, it's a lot of extreme reaction happening, and that's what always happens with these types of things. Like, you got the people saying you have to take him at 22 if you think it means you even have a chance at LeBron James, and then you shouldn't take Bronny at 22 because he has 0 chance of becoming an NBA player ever. And it's like, well, Bronny is an NBA prospect. He's not just an NBA prospect because his dad is LeBron James. Now, is he a first-round caliber NBA prospect? He is not. Is there precedent, speaking of precedent, for guys having terrible freshman seasons when they're pretty heralded recruits and pretty heralded draft picks? There are. We've seen Peyton Watson do stuff for the Denver Nuggets. He had a horrible UCLA freshman year. He averaged 3 points a game, if I remember correctly. He barely played for them. He didn't even get in their rotation that much at all. There's a lot of precedent for this. Bronny went through a scary, horrifying situation with his medical situation off the court, and then he landed in a terrible situation on a really bad team that had a lot of guards where he couldn't really fit in and kind of do what he does, which is he said at the combine, I want to be a Marcus Smart, Derek White type. So he is an NBA prospect. Is he an NBA prospect worth taking at 22? Absolutely not. And I think the part of this no one is really talking about is why would LeBron do this from a basketball perspective? Because every team that he goes to is a LeBron James team.
Yeah.
And this is a LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker team if he comes here. And that just wouldn't work. I'm not saying LeBron is selfish. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is you are now running into a situation where there's 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and we're like, wow, Kevin's only taken 1 shot this half. Wow, Devin's only brought the ball up twice this half. It's just going to happen. I'm not the often, or very rarely I am the there's only one ball guy. But now you're just running out of space.
Now this is ridiculous.
Now
if you have all
absurd.
4 of these guys,
yes, LeBron James is a point guard. No, he should not take 8 shots a game you expect the guy playing next to, what Bradley Beal did.
Yeah.
Do you want LeBron James to do that?
Bradley Beal would never even get a shot.
No, and then Bradley Beal's just not playing. Like,
Yeah.
that's the other part of this.
So that's I guess sort of where I think we need to start, and I'm sure we'll have more of this conversation later on in the show. But just starting there, kind of like how realistic is this? Because you can't draft Bronny James at 22 if you're the Suns, unless you're getting LeBron. And getting LeBron, as weird as this is to say, doesn't really make a ton of sense for the Suns. I mean, now you could be maybe trading that first-round pick on draft night and dropping down and taking Bronny in the second round, I guess. But the fact, if it really is just the Suns and Lakers working him out, that in itself seems kind of strange. Here's Shams on Run It Back today.
Yeah, Bronny James has over 10 workout invites during the pre-draft process, but I'm told he's only going to visit a couple of those, and that's going to include the Lakers and the Phoenix Suns. The Suns have the number 22 overall pick in the draft. He's under consideration there among, obviously, a lot of players at 22, but it's going to come down to the development plan. It's going to come down to guaranteed money, whether it's late in the first round, in the second round. But the fact that there's only going to be a couple teams, 2-3 teams that Bronny James visits, and the Lakers and Suns, interestingly, are among the two teams.
All right, so if you need a reminder of the power of Shams speaking, Aaron just said that on FanDuel, the Lakers are the favorites, and then the Suns are the second favorites now. And the Suns were not the second favorites for a while.
Yeah, remember the golden rule with reports. Why is this out? Who does this benefit? It benefits Bronny James to have a workout in the first round. And how does it benefit the Phoenix Suns exactly would be my next question. What it benefits for them is it gives them another prospect to look at. And they're looking at a situation right now where that 22nd pick is extremely valuable. And there might just end up being a situation where, let's say they're at 22 and they don't really like anyone there. And there's a couple of guys that other teams like, and a team at 28 calls and says, hey, we have 4 second-round picks. You guys can have 36 and 28.
Then you can drop down and take Bronny, and it's not insane.
Then you can drop down to 28, take a guy at 28, and then take Bronny at 36.
Yeah.
Which is far more feasible. He's a guy ranked in the 30s to 50s based on most.
Also probably more what the Suns need is
exactly
to do something like that.
They need to take more shots. They need to, because if they hit over these next couple of years on a guy that's making $2 million a year for the next 4 years, that's gold for them.
The list of players, too, that, if you just go back, I don't know, let's go back 10 years, and you start looking at players that were drafted 22nd or lower in the draft, 23, 24, all the way down in the second round. There are quite a few. There's not a ton, because it's the NBA, and generally speaking, there's not a whole lot of open roster spots anyway, so second round pick in the NBA is not the same as a second round pick in the NFL, certainly. But this thought of the 22nd pick in the draft is worthless. No, go through. In a lot of times you can get guys that are serviceable right away with that pick. Because they're not going to be an amazing player probably overall, but they might be able to step in their rookie year and help. So that pick in itself, aside from Bronny, is just really interesting to me as to how the Suns might approach it. Because also James Jones hasn't really put a lot of value seemingly into these draft picks the last couple years.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.